Hey ho everyone, welcome to this episode. Thanks for joining me. It's been quite a while. I was sitting there looking before going, it's been forever since I recorded an episode. It's just been so busy as usual. I'm not going to give you the same excuses that I always give because it's just the way it is. So today is not a planned thing at all. It's just something to record. But one of the things I really wanted to do for a long time, I don't really know how I'm going to do it, but this area from here to the other end up here, I'll try and show it as best I can. So through this valley here, I just want it to right about here. I just want to sort of clear it out so that it's sort of like I don't know, a path through the valley, I guess is the only way I can describe it. Ooh, let's get back up here for a second. So, like, that's the sort of end of it there. So, from there through to you want to clear all the trees out, make it a little bit more level. I still want to have the dip in the... Oh, you bugger. I still want to have the dip in the valley from side to side, if that makes sense. So, try and show... Oh my gosh. This is not cooperating today. So, you see how the dip goes from there to there? So, keep that general shape. So, from down there to up there, all the way through, and just clear this sort of higher bits out. Fill this bit in so it goes from that point there to the side. So that there to sort of up around that level. Build that up so it's sort of ground. So it'll go up to about that level all the way across to the end. Somehow. I don't know. We'll make it up as we go along. And then just what I want to do for this whole area, so from all the way there, is cut all these trees down, level this bit out a bit, all the way to the back here, clear all these trees out. Anywhere, because the horseshoe of snow goes from there, all the way around to there, and all the way up there. So it creates a horseshoe, so this is the only way in, and then it's just snow all the way around. So theoretically, the easiest way to approach on foot would be through this way. So I have no idea how I'm going to do this. Certainly not going to be all done in this episode. It's just, this is what I'm going to be working on when I'm not recording. This is what I'll be doing. So I think I might start by cutting every tree down, and I'm thinking, as much work as it'll be, I'm thinking about just doing every single tree in the valley, because that'll be the easiest way to do it. Oh, foxes. So all the trees from in there all the way up there, which is going to be a pain. And basically just anything that's sort of, in anything that's on grass. If it's up to a point where the elevation starts to rise, like I guess about there, up around that level, then I probably won't cut the trees down. Or maybe I will, I don't know. See how we go. And just slowly start to long-term landscape this area. I don't know how it'll go, but it can't hurt. And I need to do projects like this to sort of not lose any motivation and keep going. Not that I am. I just struggle, with life and everything's busy. So, and when I get on lately, even though it's not recorded, I'm doing a lot of sort of mundane just tasks like growing trees and in my end area. Just the simple things in Minecraft, which I like. Other than that, not much else has been going on. I haven't really done much except the mundane farming chores here and there off camera. One thing I've noticed, and I wanted to have a whinge about, is volunteering. Not about doing it, but I don't know if you've noticed, but I am part of a local scout group here, and what we call in Australia, I have the role of what's called a group leader. So my role in the scout group that I'm part of is, so where the kids have leaders, I'm the adults leader. So the leader of the leaders, if you want to call it that. So my role is as the group leader is to do that, lead the group, and it's responsible for a lot of different things: the financial part of the group, the recruiting of adults, the training of adults. Not that I train them, but we make sure that their training is up to date, current. You know, their certifications are good. That they're running the Scout program, because in every country, Scouts have a program, whether you knew that or not sure. But and our program, I actually quite like it. The Australian program, I believe it was originally. It came out. I think it changed in 2019 from the original badge system to the new one. No, it's actually pretty cool. I like it, and I think they adapted a large part from the Canadian sort of system, which is run really well from what I can see as well. So, yeah, it's a large part of that. So organising and running the committees, both the uniform leaders and the non-uniform adults that sort of form part of the fundraising and chairman roles and things like that. So, yeah, and to do that, we rely very heavily. I probably could have left this, actually. Yeah, because that's part of the area. Yeah, so at this point where the snow is, do I want to leave it? I might for now, and just play it by ear as we go along. So yeah, the biggest part of the Scout group and is growing them and maintaining them. Now, kids are obviously what any Scout group around the world is aimed at. But one of the things people don't often realise is there's such a big need for adults. So it requires adults to volunteer and to run to do these things. And it pretty much is, I don't want to say full-time job because it's not, but it's a volunteering role that does require a fairly high commitment. And we like to say, people will ask us when they join how much of a commitment, and look, there is no one answer for it. It's just however much an adult can provide in their time. Like, the more leaders we have, the less sort of commitment some have to give, and it's very much adapted around family, work, and everything else. So it's hard. And when I talk about this is not just Scouts. I guess this is just every volunteer organisation that there is in the world. Anything that requires volunteers, from, church groups to sports clubs, all those sorts of wonderful things. So, but I'm referring it to the context of my Scout group, or the Scout group that I'm part of. So it is very reliant on adults to help. The problem is getting adults to volunteer, and it's not as if adults don't want to help. A lot of them do, especially parents. They want to be involved with their kids, especially with such a wonderful thing that Scouts is, and the program that Scouts offers around the world. It's just becoming increasingly difficult to find volunteers in any organisation, in anything. Because, I guess, and I don't know what the cause is. I've seen studies that show volunteering since COVID is down, I don't know, whatever percentage, 40% or something like that. I don't know what the exact number is. And there's probably lots of various different reasons for that. I mean, people want to spend more of their time at home doing their own things, or they're so busy with everything else. Maybe they volunteer too much already, or maybe they just don't want to. But I don't know what the issue is. I mean, I get it. This is time you're giving to something else. And I sort of envy and look back at what it would have been like for our parents and grandparents and everyone in those situations that, I guess, the stereotype of them having a greater sense of community. It feels like that's lacking a fair bit. Probably again for very good reasons. I don't know. Time management, just commitments that people have. Now, some of this is going to be weird generation, because I did trim these chunks a long time ago when there was an update, so sometimes the trees were a little bit weird. So I don't know why, and we just find it extremely difficult to find adults to volunteer and be leaders, because it's difficult. It's a commitment. It's time. It's hard. I get it. We are very lucky in that we have a lot of interest from kids around the area who want to be Scouts, and we can't take them because there's very strict rules around ratios and the age brackets and things like that, about how many kids you can have as to how many adults to have them safely, like daycare centres and schools and things like that. They've all got their ratios, and we're exactly the same. One thing, that people don't often realise about Scouts, particularly as an adult, is that it isn't just for kids. It is very much an adult-orientated activity as well. See, this is one of those trees that was weirdly cut off. And it's one of those things that absolutely anything the kids are interested in, the adults are interested can do, and it can be anything from hiking to canoeing to camping to craft to computer programming, literally anything. And that's what I do like about the Australian system, is that the program is designed around what the kids want to do. And in saying that, if adults love to go camping, hiking, and whatever else, they can do that as well and run the program, because it can be adapted to suit any situation, any interest that the kids have. But I just don't know what it is that is stopping people from volunteering these days. It is so difficult to get anyone. And it's frustrating too, because the leaders we have in our group are some of the best I've ever seen. Dedicated, loyal, love what they do. But it gets to a point where everyone just feels the burden. There's that, well, what are we doing this for mentality? It's not being feeling appreciated. It's not the kids not showing appreciation. It's other adults and members of the community not sort of, I don't know if it's the right term, but pulling their weight. It's a hard area to sort of understand, I think, and to find answers for, because there is no right or wrong answer. But, and as I said, it would apply to any. I just don't know why this one's not disporting. Probably because, I don't know. There we go. It would apply to anything from sports clubs to anything. Would be having the same problems. Yeah, I just don't know what the answer is with it, and you just want to keep it going. Like, got home from work a couple of hours ago, and sat down to do some Scout paperwork, which took, I don't know, let's say an hour of my time. I didn't have a lot. It wasn't much to do. We keep pretty on track of it and on top of it, which is really good. As I said, the leaders we've got in our Scout group are amazing. I don't know what Scouts is like in the areas of where you live. Let me know if you know about Scouts. What is it like? And shoot me the links for their pages if you've got any web pages, so I can see how they're recruiting and what initiatives they use to attract people. Because one of the things I'm trying to do is some sort of marketing campaign, which is extremely difficult to do because A, I don't have the time to do it, and B, I don't really know what to do to make it that effective. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've been trying to get recruit leaders for a long time, but it's not working. So we need to change what we're doing. I need to change how I'm doing it, but I don't know the best way to do it. And I thought about, and I'm quite happy to go to a marketing agency to get some advice, or even get them to run the campaign. So I need to find that out as well. But if scouting or something is in your area, I encourage you to try it. It's amazing, and it's always good because whether you're sure that heard this before or not, and please correct me if you haven't. If you have, sorry, but the United Nations regards Scouts as one of the world's, I think it's the leading form of non-formal education in the world. I mean, the whole point of Scouts is to develop leadership and resilience in youth. And it does that because the program allows them to grow and do different things that they want to do to make them stronger people, more confident people. I think it's something like 9 out of 11 people, and those numbers are probably slightly wrong, that have walked on the moon were Scouts. So the Neil Armstrongs and Buzz Aldrins, they were, I think you call them Eagle Scouts there. Or, your Boy Scouts of America, and an Eagle Scout is someone who's achieved their peak award, because every section or every age bracket in each country has their peak awards. They're, the top badges that kids can go for. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I might leave things like these pumpkins for now. I mean, I can always get rid of them for later, but they can add to the aesthetic of the bush. And I want to go through and just put various different tree types in here. So everything from the birch, acacias, the oaks, dark oaks. Try not to sneeze here. I've got a really bad itch in my nose. Nope. Couldn't hold it. Forget what I was saying now. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And I as an adult quite enjoy it. I like the working with other adults and other people on achieving something, like putting together plans for the kids and everything else, and being able to coordinate what they want to do. We've had some what we call venture scouts, and that is the age bracket of 14 to 17, and some of these scouts are the most amazing human beings you've ever seen, because even at that relatively young age, when others are doing questionable things in their life, these kids are at this age bracket, and we'll caveat this with, yes, everything is supervised, so don't think it's not. But these kids have gone out on 3 or 4 day hikes on their own in very not easy hikes. They've picked these hikes on their own to do the peak award for their section for adventurers. And these kids, and I say kids, these late teens, young adults, are achieving things that I would never be able to do. Things that I don't even want to do, to be honest. And it's just simply awe-inspiring. It's amazing what, you can get a kid to achieve, with, their own self-determination, drive, and just a little bit of help. Yeah. I don't know, the whole volunteering thing has really sort of bugged me lately, because whilst it's been a constant problem forever and COVID never helped much at all, I just wish more people would, I guess, to say it harshly, put community ahead of themselves a little bit more. Put others ahead of themselves just a little bit more. I get it. Time is precious. Time is hard to manage. It's finite. And it does come down to a question, do you really want to give it to someone else rather than your own? And I think, well, that's a difficult question to ask. Sure, not all of it, no. Because ultimately you've got to look after yourself and your family. But I do think it's important to give to other people. I do think it's important to, to put other things ahead of your own interests. When and where you can. So that's the plan. One of the things I want to do was I don't like pixel art very much, but one of the things I want to do, just for decoration wise, is have a big scout symbol. So you got that pixel art up there. Is I want to do one for the Australian scout symbol, and because it's very bright colours. So that's what I'm thinking of doing, and I want to do it in one of those map things. You know how people go out and they set up those chunks, they do a map art? I can't stand the thought of doing that myself with all that work, but something like that I think would look pretty cool. And I'd have it on my server somewhere. So, yeah, actually I might start doing that. I'll make it a bright colours because, yeah, it's cool. We've got 5 different sections, each with a colour. So, Scouts in Australia is awesome. And it goes from 5 to 25-year-olds. Now, yes, obviously 18 to 25-year-olds, they're adults. They still run a quote-unquote youth program. So our system is really cool because it's the same program from 5 to 25-year-old. So if you start as a 5-year-old up until 25, you're doing the same badges. The difference is the level of complexity of each badge. So you can start as a 5-year-old, let's say on your Alpine badge, and we call them outdoor adventure skills. So you start on level 1 as a 5-year-old, and all these awards have a limit of level 9, and they have different offshoot streams in them. So to go from level 1, even as a 5-year-old, to level 9, I don't know, so don't quote me on this exactly, but I've heard to go from level 1 to level 9 can take 20 years. Because as you go up in the levels, the complexity becomes a lot more. And it's obviously designed at those much higher age brackets. So it's the type of thing that you can set out as a young kid and still be doing as an adult. And that's amazing. Not only that, you put these things on resumes, and it's incredible because you've got organizational skills, leadership skills, everything that most jobs apply for. And even as an adult, you put these things on as an adult on your resume, and you may scoff at it and go, well, it's just scouts. But yes, but there's so much more to it. It's not just the uniforms and the hiking. You've got to think of the logistics behind all these activities and the planning that goes into the legalities that go into it, the responsibilities. They're just taken for granted. And it's just amazing what you can do with these things. And the fact that these kids are doing it, because one of the philosophies of Scouts Australia is youth-led, adult-supported. So the concept is that when, starting from 5-year-olds, for example, the youth plan and what they want to do. And obviously at that age, the adults, the leaders, are doing most of the work for them. The kids may say they want to go on a I don't know what activity they might want to do. Let's just say the typical camping. They'll say that, and at 5-year-old, the leaders will do most of the planning and coordination and everything else because they're 5-year-old, 5 to 7-year-olds. They're not going to know and they'll not be able to do those things. I mean, you'll ask them and you'll teach them the basics, and then as they grow up in the different sections, more and more of that responsibility is given to those kids. So that by the time they're these venturers I talked about before, who are 14 to 17-year-olds, they are doing it. They can do it themselves, always with adult supervision, of course, in the background. But the point is they're doing it themselves. And that's the whole point. That's how they grow. That's how they learn these things and they achieve these badges. And every country's different. So you'd have to look up your own scout group in whatever country you're in or area you're in. Even in Australia, even though we have Scouts Australia, every state is different. They have the same we have the same program across Australia, but every state or every branch has different policies and different ways they run things individually as per the state. So yeah, it sort of works out sort of different. But give it a go, have a look. Anyway, I guess that's part of the reason I wanted to do these videos is to get things on my chest and rant a little bit. That's one of the things. So tell me what you think about it. Do you volunteer? If so, what for? How do I get more adults interested in joining? And what methods do I reach them through? Most of the thing today is Facebook. There's got to be other ways to do it. What are the magic words to get people interested? Anyway, that'll do for me ranting about that today. I'm going to continue this for probably about another hour more before I head to bed. By then I should actually done a fair bit. There's going to be a lot of those trees there. It's going to be hard to do. Got a fair bit more to go. Let me know what you think, and I will continue this in the time and probably head to bed soon. But thank you for joining me. Drop a comment, like, all that sort of stuff, and let me know what you're up to and what you think. And I will catch you in the next one. So for now, bye-bye.